So one thing that's always been difficult in Minecraft is trying to protect your villagers from zombies or raids. That's why in today's video I want to try and set up this village in such a way that we have it actually protected. We don't need to worry about zombies coming in or pillager raids. So I want to try and build a fortified wall around this place. I want to have nighttime activated lights that pop up to make sure these guys are protected and safe from zombies and these things. So we got ourselves a pretty big village here, and we got a lot of different terrains that we're going to deal with. So the first thing I want to do is we got to set up some kind of a wall perimeter around here, just so anything that spawns outside of our lit up areas still don't have the ability to actually get in here. So as for our wall here, I don't want it to be just a big cobblestone wall or something that doesn't look good. So I think let's try and come up with some kind of a design that looks pretty good and also works for keeping mobs out. So I think for our actual wall here, you can see we're getting sort of an outline here. It's going to be pretty massive. And also, if we want to try and make this a square, I think we're going to leave out this house. And it might add a little bit more character to the village if it looks like we have one lone outsider that's outside of the village walls. Okay, so it looks like we got ourselves our initial outline here for our walls here. And as you can see, takes up this part of the village. And we have our little outsider over here on the edge of the village. So now what we need to do is we need to actually make this look nice and also be properly functional at the same time. So I'm thinking for our design here, I want to keep it simple but also make sure it looks pretty good at the same time. So I just come up with an initial design here, and I think I'm pretty happy with that if we just kind of repeat that pattern the whole way along. So for our wall here, I think I've come up with a pretty decent design to start off with here. Pretty simple, but I think it suits the place pretty well. So let me try and put this around the whole village, and let's see what that looks like. So whenever I take on these Minecraft projects like this, it always ends up being a lot more difficult than I think it will be at the beginning. But here we go. We have our initial wall here sorted out here the whole way along. And what I've done is I put torches on top of all of the beams, so that's going to add some initial consistent lighting to the outside of our village here. And in a few areas like here on this cliffside, I decided not to even continue the wall and meet it up. It kind of looks like as if the ground sort of fell in at one point. The way the ground is set up, there's no way for mobs to actually be able to get in from here. And I think it looks pretty cool as well like this. So now that we have our perimeter set up, as you can see, we lost a few guys here and there along the way. We might not try and get them in later on. But anyway, now that we have it set up, what we need to do is we need to set up our proper entrances and exits in order to get out of this place. And try and set up some kind of maybe drawbridge type setup too to go along with that. This area here looks like a pretty good area where you would have an entrance. Maybe a road leading off into another area over here. So I think we should set up our first base right around here. So because I didn't do a lot of planning ahead of time, what we're going to have to do right now is try and fit in a decently sized entrance here while also making it fit in properly with this. So what we're going to have to do here is let's just extend this out a bit so that at least it's symmetrical on this side, so that we're going to have a bigger area here, but that's just because we're going to have our door system here to go along with that. And I think a 5-block entrance is going to look pretty cool here for our entrance in here. What we can do is we can get ourselves an axe just so we can actually make the pillars look a little bit different than the supports for the wall itself. So for our setup here, I think I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out here for sort of our entrance way into the village here. Now just with a few finishing touches here, I think I'm happy with that. Now the thing is, obviously, we don't have a gate itself. So I think we're going to have to set something up in order to still make this function as somewhat of a drawbridge. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think I'm right in saying the villagers won't want to wander out too far away from their village anyway, hopefully. So I think we're fine leaving it open for them to actually go in and out through it. But what we need to do, I want to try and set it up so that every night the ground opens up like this, and maybe we got ourselves a lava pit or something down below, so that if any zombies or anything gets attracted over to the village, they drop down into our pit down here. So set up just a quick redstone contraption here to kind of show what exactly I want to do here. So if we get it into our normal position, and if I can get out of here, we're going to have our normal grass blocks just going along like so. In the middle of the day, you can easily go in and out of our village here. And then when it comes to the night and we want to lock the place down but still keep the gate open, all we have to do is set off our system here, which is then going to have a drop-off area here. And what we can do is we could even maybe put down some signs or something so that if zombies are attracted, they'll continuously walk over the gap and maybe fall into a lava pit or something we can have below here. So let's see if I can set this up right now. Hey, it works. I can't believe that actually works. So, on the flip of a lever, or maybe we can set it up to a daylight sensor or something. It's open, and then we flip it, and it's closed again. Flip the lever, it's open. It actually works. Every time I do redstone underground, somebody wants to get in the way. Okay, so I've hooked up a daylight sensor here, and I have a piece of glass here, just to show, just so the daylight sensor knows whether it's day or night. So let's switch on over to nighttime here. Let's see if this works. And it doesn't work. Maybe it has to be proper night? Yes, it works. Okay, I know what the problem is. The problem is we gotta set this thing up a little bit further away, I think. So if we set up our green glass over here, if we put it a little bit further away, like so, during the day it comes up, and then as soon as it turns to night, it opens up, and we have our lava pit, so that anything that path finds its way through here should go straight into the lava pit. And I know we're doing this to protect the villagers, but this guy is gonna be stuck down here. But what I will do, just to be nice, is I'll light the place up. Just so zombies don't spawn in this death trap down here. So, the next thing I want to do, again with some more daylight sensors, is I want to try and set up an automatic lighting system in the entire area here. Now this is a big area, but what I want to try and do is set it up so that sea lanterns or maybe glowstone or something will pop out of the ground every time it becomes night. And sort of like an automatic lighting system that isn't visible during the day. Okay, so I've laid out somewhat of a grid here with our sea lanterns of where I want them all to be. Now, if I'm being honest, we may need to supplement some of this with some normal torchlights, because I think in order to try and get every single dark spot, we're going to need an insane amount of these. So I think even at the moment is a lot of them. So let's see how we're going with these, and we might do some supplemental lighting with that as well. So what I want to do is use a fairly simple and compact design like this, which is essentially a block swapper. So if we fill in some of the area here, as you can see, we have our sea lantern that's visible right now. And on the flip of this lever, let's take two with that. So, on a flip of a lever like so, is changed with a sea lantern. Now I gotta do that for every one of these. So I've become very, very efficient at making these block swappers here. And it's one of those things where I started out with way more, and then I realized, yeah, you know what, maybe we don't need so many. But I made a bunch of them here, as you can see. So now, what we need to do is we need to turn them from individually, manually activated ones into an entire system that activates independently as soon as it becomes nighttime. Alright, so what I've done right now is I hooked up pretty much the most elaborate redstone wiring that I've ever probably done. This thing is connected to every one of these. Now there's no repeaters or anything set up with it just yet, but it looks like some kind of ant maze or something here. Everything, I probably could have connected them to different daylight sensors, or even all of them to their own. But you know what? This way is cooler. So now I need to run around this redstone and try and make sure it goes to all the places it's supposed to go. So for our starting location here, why don't we start this off in the very corner over here. Everything is coming together. Obviously there's going to be a bit of a delay when we're setting this up, because everything won't be able to be activated on the same tick, or else I'd have everything super delayed. So now let's actually hook them up to the daylight sensor and see, does this actually work? Okay, so I'm setting up my observer right now, and I don't know exactly what the problem is, but I thought if you set up your daylight timer, it's going to send a pulse to an observer when it updates, and that should make everything change. But I don't know what's going on, but it's sending such a quick pulse or something, but it's not actually activating it. So I think we're going to have to try and do something a little bit different in order to make it work. Alright, so with a bit of work, I managed to get this thing hooked up right now. And as we can see, everything is grass instead of lights. And then once we change it to night, the lights come back on. All at the same time, essentially. So let's cover this in right now and let's see what that actually looks like. And so as we can see, now that everything's filled in nicely, there's no lights visible, everything looks like it normally does. And then once we switch it to nighttime, our lights start popping out of the ground. I think that's pretty cool, guys. I'm very happy with that. And of course, when it's nighttime, our little mini mode opens up right here. And anything that spawns and tries to get in at our villagers will be falling into the lava here. So anyway, guys, this project took a lot longer than I initially intended it to. I wanted to do more, but I'm running out of time for today. So I think it's a success. I think we can call it that at the moment here. We got our perimeter wall. Nothing can get over it. Lights up the perimeter nicely. And we have our gate here that when it turns to night, sets up our lava moat. And then our automatic lighting system goes off. So I'm pretty happy with that, guys. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you all in the next video.